So Pakistan beat India in 3 straight sets in volleyball. It was a fight for the fifth and the sixth place. India has now come sixth, and Pakistan played very, very well, and they completely decimated India in 3 straight sets. Sandeep saw the match, but there was an interesting, I would say, an aspect attached to it, that right after the match, neither the players nor the coach of the Indian team spoke with the media. Sandeep, isn't that completely out of line? They should have had the graciousness to speak to the press.
I think probably I think by the time you saw the second and the third set, you actually knew where the match was going. With Pakistan able to pull off something, at the end, they were pulling away very, very simply, keeping the errors down and all of that. But yes, I think you got a point there. I mean, once the match is over, I think I think it's part of the whole scenario, the part of the entire contract that you have within yourself and also with the national team that you better stop there and speak to the media. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is bizarre for me at least. I mean, after covering for so many years, probably even 3 decades now, I mean, you rarely see where a coach kind of is so dismissive and says that I don't want to talk. My point is very simple. I can understand the hurt of a defeat, Everybody can. I mean, we all do. But at the same time, you need to be standing up there. You need to be saying what really went wrong. And even if you don't want to, let's say that you don't want to say anything, you just say, yes, Pakistan was a better team today, lost in straight sets. And then just say that, okay, these are the two, three
And
players
then
who
you
are
move
going to
on.
talk to the media.
Yeah.
So
You
what's wrong
tweeted.
in that?
Exactly. You tweeted about this incident, that the way the Indian players walked away from the Indian media, the coach waved his hands and said, "I'm not going to speak." So there were two interesting comments right under your tweet, Sandeep, because you wouldn't have had any time to check. So I'll read them out. One is by Siddhant Talbar, and he says, "Because they lost to Park, this is not good. Overall campaign, if you consider the rankings." And the second one was by Samarth Bagwe, who said, "How do you lose to Pakistan? Come on. They were performing so well, beat South Korea, Chinese Taipei, gave Japan a good fight just to lose to Pakistan. Yeah, I would be unbelievably disappointed. That went downhill pretty damn quickly." So both comments sort of mirror frustration, and they are wondering that, yeah, you should have, the players should have, or the coach should have had a word with people like you then.
You know, uh, traditionally, historically, we always feel that India Park and Park is going to be the number two team. In so many ways, at least in Olympic sport specifically. And looking at the last 7, 8, 10 years of how hockey has fared for India against Pakistan in the sense that we are such a dominant team now. But my point is that okay, Pakistan is much higher ranked. So if India would have won it categorically, it's an upset there. Now that you haven't won, you didn't win because ranking also show that. But the point again is, from listlessness on the pitch to actually waving your hands and saying and walking away. And believe me, there were, I don't know the gentleman who, what his name was, but he kept saying, please, can you stop and talk to us? I mean, I've never really encountered a situation where a team doesn't want to look at you. And this is what, I mean, this probably comes down at the feet of the IOA. I mean, like, you're going to ask journalists not to be in the mix zone, not to do this, not to do that. What about the national teams? Journalists come here for a job. I mean, they don't come here for a lark. I mean, they're not being paid here to come on a holiday. And so is not the national team. So the national team better stand up there and have the courage to at least say that, okay, these are the reasons we have lost. You don't want to answer controversial questions because honestly, Arup, there are no controversial questions here.
Yeah.
It's just about a straight sets defeat. And a lot of fans who understand volleyball, it's not the most popular sport, but I do believe that it is an important sport. The media in strength may not be here, and they may be in strength on Sunday, on Saturday when India plays Pakistan in hockey. But those are different definitions that we have given to each sport. So
Okay, let's
that's when you feel,
let's look at the positives where India is concerned. India is ranked number 73 in the world, like we've been discussing it earlier. Pakistan is ranked 51, so Pakistan is way ahead up the pecking order. And India did very, very well in these games in this tournament because it beat Chinese Taipei, Republic of Korea, and Cambodia, and fought against Japan pretty commendably. The other point is that India did come sixth, but it is still a pretty good rating to have, because the last time they finished 12th. Now, the point is, you tweeted that after the second set, and you were tweeting live that India was looking listless, India was looking tired. Why did you get a sense of that? Had India lost interest, or were they genuinely tired because of the campaign calendar, the schedule? You have a very fair idea about all these things.
I mean, I don't think. I think the body language was completely wrong. It could be tiredness, it could be anything, and that's exactly why people need to stand there and probably answer a few questions, because you need to write about it. You need to tell the general fan out there that okay, these are reasons why India lost in straight sets, you know. But yes, you look at one, you look at two, you look at three. You overall, you just use one word, which is listless. You don't see that energy coming out of the team. Now, hundreds of reasons for that. And if we go into that, then it just becomes assumptions on our part, which honestly I have always felt it's unfair to assume about a national team that, okay, these are the reasons why they may not have played well. But if you look at the errors and you count the errors, I think the data and analytics will probably be up in a little while. You can easily see how Pakistan's errors were so much more minimized against India, and they played a pretty simple style of volleyball. They understood what it takes to win this particular match, and they wanted to. That hunger was there. Even in the end, when they won, you could see it on their faces. Even when India was winning points, I really didn't see that energy flowing away. That energy normally comes from the court onto the people who are sitting outside. You could not see that. You couldn't feel that. You could feel it from Pakistan. That is why you could see probably a few of my tweets were like, can we come back? Are they pulling away? Is Pakistan too good for this now?
संदीप, हमारे दर्शक ये भी जानना चाहेंगे आपसे कि इस पूरे कैंपेन के दौरान जब इंडिया जीत रहा था तो एक माहौल बहुत बढ़िया बन गया था। बार बार ये जिक्र हो रहा था कि वॉलीबॉल में हमारे लड़के कितना बेहतरीन खेल रहे हैं, उनके कोच जयदीप चैटर्जी उनकी मदद कर रहे हैं। और इन लोगों ने जब वो पहला इंटरव्यू दिया था इनको कोरिया को हराने के बाद, तो एक जोश था, वो समा बन चुका था। लेकिन जब हारते चले गए तो ये सवाल जरूर पैदा होता है कि पाकिस्तान 51 पे कैसे है वर्ल्ड रैंकिंग पे और इंडिया 73 पे क्यों है। सहूलियतें अगर आप देखिए और जो बाकी फैसिलिटीज हैं वो तो शायद मुझे लगता है इंडिया में ज्यादा होंगी।
नहीं नहीं, बिल्कुल। अभी भी जिस तरह से हमने दोपहर में उस समय बात की थी, अभी भी मैं मानता हूँ और अभी भी मैं बिल्कुल भी इसमें बिलीव करता हूँ कि देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ वैल्यू टू द टीम। देयर इज अ ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ वैल्यू जो कि अभी भी अनअर्थ है। मतलब हम उस तरह से अभी भी बाकी स्पोर्ट्स को, ओलंपिक स्पोर्ट्स को देखते हैं, और मैं कंपेयर नहीं कर रहा हूँ। आई एम नॉट ट्राइंग टू put two things together that, on one side you have cricket and on one side you have Olympic sport. Olympic sport will always be Olympic sport, and we can't deny that, and we can't walk away from that. That's the reality. But the bigger question is that there is immense value to this, and a defeat like this doesn't take away the value. That's what my belief is. So I think it's probably better that the team comes together, the coach comes together, and they probably try and understand what really went wrong today. I mean, you've beaten Korea in this entire competition. You've beaten a couple of very decent teams, and then there has been a complete slide. Now, why those slides happen? Professional sports has so many answers, and there are a couple of answers that came from the dressing room. For me to say that would be very, very unethical, right now, because again, they are on phone calls which are unofficially given to you. That is exactly the reason why people stand there, and that is exactly the reason why mixed zones are created, so that all these assumptions are taken away, and you get official answers. Now, if you don't want to give official answers, that can happen with every team that loses. And understand, and we all know that a majority of the players, when they come to competitions, irrespective of the team, whether it is Asia, whether it is Olympic Games, majority of the teams lose, majority of the players lose. It's only a cream that always wins. So what happens to the ones who lose? They don't want to talk.
Okay, before you go, and we let you go, you've had a very long and hard day. I just wanted a quick reaction from you on the Brazilian coach, highly emotive, the way that man wept, and he was so emotional after their victory against Korea. What has he lent to Pakistan, which may have been missing earlier?
I think maybe again, I mean, we see it from one match, we see it from two or three matches, and honestly, we are not the ones who keep following volleyball day in, day out. Let's admit to that fact also. But whatever you saw from him today was an immense amount of energy that probably flowed onto the players. You could see they were hungry. You could see he was hungry. Even in the end, when they got together with the national flag of Pakistan, you could actually see it in his face that how badly he wanted this. And I think, um, and I do believe it, that I didn't see that in the Indian side. I didn't see that in the coach. I didn't see that in the players. And it's wrong to always keep on blaming the players for such defeats. I think there's something intrinsically wrong that happens when a team loses like this, and that is exactly what they need to figure out.
Okay, so congratulations to Pakistan for playing a superb match and a very good tournament, and also best wishes to India for fighting so hard, beating three excellent teams, and then somehow losing the plot. But nevertheless, it has been a tremendous fight back by India because, like we said earlier they were 12th in the last Asian Games. They've climbed to number 6, and hopefully in the next one they'll do even better. So we'll let Sandeep go. He's had a very, very long day, and there are more hard days to come. And we'll keep a very close track on the Asian Games.
Thank you.